Welcome to Coordinating Your Chaos with the Blended Mama. My name is Teresa Stone. I am the Blended Mama, and on this channel, we help busy women find calm in the chaos of life through community and planning.
Morning, virtual crappers. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Teresa Stone. I am so glad you are hanging out with me this morning. If we have not met before, again, my name is Teresa Stone. I also go by the Blended Mama, and I'm often called a chaos coordinator. And what I do is I spend a lot of my time helping people figure out how to bring a little bit more calm into very full lives. So I am a planner, a journaler, a memory keeper, and honestly, I'm recovering from too many notebooks. If you are that kind of person where you always have a notebook, you're always writing things down, but maybe none of them ever get finished, you are my kind of people, friend. Um, I definitely used to feel like I needed to keep a separate journal or notebook for everything, right? I had my planner, I had a notebook for journaling, I had something else for memory keeping, and eventually I realized I was making things harder, not easier. I wasn't actually doing the things I wanted to be doing. I wasn't writing in my journal because it felt hard. I wasn't doing memory keeping because it felt hard. I was having to do it as a separate task. And so one thing I started implementing late last year is actually incorporating those all into one thing. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today is how I use one dot grid journal to kind of mix all of those things together. So I have planning, journaling, memory keeping all in one place, and it's done in a way that actually supports my real life and perhaps yours as well. So today I'm going to be sharing how I used my December journal to do this in real time, just to kind of give you some examples, and you'll see kind of how I played with things and figured out what was going to work best for me. I'm going to also share how I'm working on my 2026 setup, which my thought is that based off of how much I used in my journal for December, that I'm going to probably end up using one journal per quarter. So I'm really setting this up with the intention of it being a quarterly journal. I also do something called the 12-week year. It's a book, and we read it in our book club, I don't know, probably a year and a half ago. And so I really do more 12-week style planning instead of monthly, quarterly, yearly, whatever. And you'll kind of see how that is incorporated into my journal as well. And then how I've already started setting up January, because it is January 1st, so Happy New Year. But you'll see that I actually finished up December in here as well, because I like to keep my weeks together. So I finished up December in my 2026 journal. And I want to also talk through how I'm planning to use this journal alongside my book club. So we're going to talk about book club a little bit as well. For our first quarter, we're going to be reading The Lazy Genius Way, which is fantastic. I just finished it a couple days ago because obviously I'm the facilitator. I kind of need to read it in advance, but um, nothing I'm going to show you today is meant to be perfect. It's definitely not perfect. You guys are some amazing crafters, and you're going to probably look at mine and be like, oh, that's just not, maybe it's not pretty to you, and that's okay. It works for me, and this is where I'm going to just encourage you to not feel like it all has to be perfect. Today is not going to be perfect. You're going to see that my journals are definitely not perfect. But I do want us to showcase progress, flexibility, and really giving yourself permission to let your journal or your planner to grow with you. So before I flip the camera around, I do want to talk a little bit about why dot grid journals work so well, especially if you're a scrapbooker. I can't speak this morning. Um, but which I know many of you are, and I love seeing your layouts, and I just want somebody to do that for me. But so the memory keeping I do is definitely not on the same level as the scrapbooking that you guys all do, but it is what works for me. But let's talk a little bit about dot grid. So dot is kind of a sweet spot when it comes to journals because it gives you enough structure to make lists, to draw boxes, to create simple layouts for your weekly plans, but it still is open enough for you to use photos or to do journaling, play with stickers and washi, right? All those things that we love to use in our scrapbooks, you can still use a lot of that here in your journal. You don't have to have any fancy lettering. I'm definitely not. If you see any kind of fancy fonts, it's because I traced it with a light board. You don't have to have a ruler for everything because there are dots and that helps you line things out. I do use the edge of a stencil a lot to help me if I'm doing like a longer straight line, but you don't have to have a ruler for anything. If you can make a bullet point and draw a line, you're good with dot grid. So for me, you'll also see my goal is never to make each page match. My layout on one page is not the same as the next, but I really want it to be something that is usable. So with all that being said, let's flip the camera around and I'm going to just share with you what my December looked like, and then we'll move into January as well. Okay, friends, I am going to be honest, this is the third time I'm trying to record this. I'm hoping it's going to work. Maybe the third time is a charm. So I'm going to maybe try to go a little quicker. Um, I wanted to share how I started with incorporating planning and journaling all into one thing, along with memory keeping, and why I did it. So here you'll see that I had created like a fun little page for November, and then I journaled the 8th and the 12th, and then nothing. And that was kind of how things were going. I wasn't being consistent. And so I really wanted, and I was just journaling. So what I started in December was planning and journaling all in one space. So I created a fun little monthly, and then I created a weekly plan, right? So I have my calendar so that I see what week I'm planning. I have things that are important to me. So that was a Bible verse and an affirmation. And then on Sundays, I would sit down and think through, here's what I need to accomplish this week. So this is to-do list, appointments, purchases I need to make, that sort of thing. And then I would just go about my day and log as I was going. If I wanted to add in a picture, I used my Sprocket printer to create some photos. These are, again, just lists of things that happened. Again, journaling, memory keeping all in one space, using fun decos and stickers to create the prettiness that I was looking for, but it was very low pressure. You'll see some days I'll have more because I had a little more time, or I was just feeling inspired, and other days it's gonna just be more word, right? So I did use our I had a journal project with the stickers that you see me using at the top, and the deco paper is largely from that. Of course, I'm using washi here down the middle to just divide the pages, but I was just having a lot of fun with that. I also use it for some brain dumping, mind mapping kind of things. This was as I was planning my 2026 planner. And again, I just continued with that. So I had, at this time, I had like highlights. These were important things that were happening that week. And then my to-do list. So you'll see that that's just kind of how I was using it, and I was able to actually do this every day. You'll see I did it every day. You'll also see there's white space. White space doesn't mean failure. It just means that I left space for life to happen. So I was really proud of myself for being able to actually do what I wanted to do, which just encouraged me to expand that for 2026. So what you'll see here is my new planner. So I do have a cover for this one with Tula 12. We are a lifestyle organizer company, so we do have paper planners, but I am using the journaling process. So I just have a cover and a journal. But you can use the same cover for a ring planner, or we have inserts that you can use where it's in a band system. So lots of different ways to do planning, but like I said, I really wanted to focus on planning and journaling all in one space. So I have my cover, I have a pocket here, which will hold my planning and journaling kit, which we have every month. There is a new one, and this one is just all the little goodies. So it just comes with the 2 sticker sheets, a stencil, a journal card, and a coaster, and all of that will fit in this pocket. And then I'm just going to share with you real quickly my planner layout so far for 2026. And I apologize for the lighting. But I do have a grid guide. This just helps me with the sizing. I have a legend or a key so that I remember what things mean. My year at a glance with important days already noted. I have a book tracker. The rest of this is kind of quarterly based, so just based off of how much space I needed for December, this journal should last me about a quarter. So I have my book tracker for the quarter, my craft project list, my word of the year, vision board kind of thing. And I did use a faux memo printer for this, so I will have some links for some of the tools that I used in the show notes. I drew out my ideal day because I like routine and I like to know how things are going. And then I started with goal setting. So I did some just journaling here with my thoughts. Again, I did perimenopause and brain farts are common. So if that is also you, you are my kind of people. Hidden word. So I used some deco paper and a journal card to create just a pretty page, but there are thoughts behind it. And then I did my quarterly goal setting. So I do follow a 12-week year process. The 12-week year is a book that we read in book club. I'll talk some more about book club at the end, but we read that about a year and a half ago, and it was fantastic. So it really follows a 12-week process for planning, and so that's what this is. So I've color-coded with personal, business, and then team leadership, and then the actions here are in the same color coding. So what I'll do is when week 1 starts, which is next week, I will move these actions to my week 1 just to keep things in focus. Again, some extra white space in case I needed to add more. And then I move into January. So this is a fun sticker sheet from Tula 12. I was able to put my top 3 and just a fun inspirational quote. A pretty page to get me started for January. This is using the journal card and deco paper from a deco kit. And this was actually the title page from the deco, and I just fussy cut around it and used that as well. Again, sticker sheets from Tula 12 for this January. This is my January monthly. So I have that. And then I also created a January. This is for my content planning. Most people are not going to need 2 months, but that's what I did. And I used the Art of Planning and Journaling stickers for the month and for this journal card. It is double-sided. It has just a fun quote on the other side. And then I am tracking, this will be a sales tracker. You see that I just still have my sticky note. I still need to draw that. And then I have my January orders. And then I moved into my weekly planning, much like what I was doing in December. So I have my month, my Bible verse, my affirmation, and then I added in habit tracking. They're a little bit bigger than I want, so we'll make some adjustments before next week. But I used the faux memo printer for this as well, created my to-do list, my important dates, and then again, more hidden words for my journaling for, this is actually December because I started with December 29th. So I just wanted to wrap up December here and then continued with my journaling. So this is just an easy way for you to bring your planning and your journaling, your memory keeping all into one space. So I'm going to flip the camera back around and we are going to wrap this up. Well, apparently the third time was the charm. So thankfully that ended up working out. I do just want to wrap up with a few points. So I think it's important for us to remember that when it comes to planning, it's all about finding a process that works for us. And I think it's important to be intentional about our planning. And that's really why I made some of the changes that I made in December was to play around with it for January before I set up like a whole new planner for it. And I really wanted to get back into my 12-week year planning. It's been a transitional year for me. I've had a lot going on. And so those 12-week year goals don't actually look like as big as they have in other years. And I had to be okay with that. And I think for a while there, I just wasn't okay with it. So I just wasn't making them. But that's not very helpful. So I'm excited to be putting that back into play for me because that helps me remember what matters most right now, what deserves my attention, and what doesn't need to come with me into the season, right? It makes it some really working pages that I can come back to. I can cross things out. I can change my mind and it's okay, right? Because our journals and our planners are allowed to evolve just like we do. So I do still have some things to wrap up for the first quarter, but there's plenty of space in there for planning, for journaling, and for memory keeping as the month goes on. Um, I will probably decorate more on some pages than I do on others. I don't pre-fill anything. Um, it really is setting it up as I go. Now, I will say I do still have one insert that is the monthly. So I am still having that. That just gives me the high level month because still need to see all 12 months. So I do still have that. That is helpful, but there's nothing in my journal that is pre-filled out. I can live in it. It can grow with me, and it can support me in the ways that I need it. Um, Now, what I am looking forward to adding into it that I didn't do in the last December was I am really looking forward to using this alongside what I'm reading and with my book club and kind of keeping those notes all together as well. So I do a quarterly book club. Um, and right now I have all 4 quarters for 2026 are mapped out. We are going to be reading The Lazy Genius Way, which is the first quarter. We're going to read Find Your People by Jenny Allen, How Women Rise, and The Next Best Thing. And I'm really excited for this series. It really is about nourishing ourselves, nourishing our relationships, nourishing our leadership, and oh, I don't remember what the last one was. Um, and I'm just going to blame perimenopause because that's how my brain goes, and I didn't write it down. So, um, anyway, but I'm excited to be using this journaling process because this will actually line up with the quarters, right? So, I'll be able to write down quotes that really stand out, thoughts that hit home, um, things that people contribute whenever we meet because we meet every other week ish on Mondays. And it's pretty low pressure, right? You've got 3 months really to finish one book. So it really is about taking the time to digest it, to really be able to apply what we're learning. A lot of times we'll read personal development and we sit down, we read it in a weekend, and then what are we doing with it, right? So that's why I like our quarterly book club. It really gives us time to sit in it and to digest. And I will have a link in the show notes if you would like to learn more about it. But I'm really excited to be able to incorporate that into my planner. Now, if all of this is sounding like I really resonate with that, I would love for you to come hang out with me more. I run a community called the Chaos Coordinator Community, where we talk about planning, we talk about journaling, we talk about memory keeping, and we just do real life together. There's no pressure, there's definitely no perfection, but it's just an opportunity to come and hang out with people who are probably in the similar season of life. Um, but my goal really is to just help you find calm in the chaos of life, one page at a time. So, thank you guys for hanging out with me and spending part of your morning with me. I know this is different from a lot of the other demos because you guys are crafting, right? You're doing your scrapbooking, and I'm here telling you about planning and journaling. But if hopefully this gave you some ideas of things you might want to try in your own journal. Um, but I would love for you to come hang out with me in my Chaos Coordinator community. Again, link will be in the show notes. But I hope that you guys have a fantastic start to your new year. Go make a little space on your page and let your life show up there, friends. And I will see you guys later.
Thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips and inspiration, and watch that next video to keep coordinating your chaos.